are there things outside of just the contributor side that people should be paying attention to?
There is, and there is a lot we can look at and people have thought about looking at. And this is where it's really awesome that we have the Chaos project, because now we have one place where we can collect all of these ideas and build out resources around them. So in the Chaos project, I'll just start there, because if someone were to look for metrics, it's easiest to have a frame of reference that's already there and exists. And we have 5 focus areas of metrics, and they are around the value of a project, the risk in a project, the evolution of a project, diversity, equity, and inclusion in a project. So those are really high-level categories that we have metrics in each of them. And then there are some generic ones where we just say, yes, there are different types of contributions, and we want to acknowledge all of them, because an open source project, like I said at the beginning, if it's only developers, we don't see the full picture of everything that is being done in open source, nor is it, there's a problem with overemphasizing the software development with metrics, because it's so easy to look at the log, the Git log, and all the commits that are made to edit the software. And we have the issues where, again, a lot of conversation is happening around contributions to the source code, bug reporting, feature requests. When it comes to like organizing events or helping newcomers and being on social media, it's much harder to have those kinds of metrics, but they're important to acknowledge. And so there are some ideas for how to do that, with encouraging everyone to like open an issue, say, hey, I did this. It doesn't really work that great. Sometimes it's just being in the community and recognizing those that we see every day and that have done awesome work in different ways, having the human component in that metric collection, if you want to call it that. It's really recognizing the contributors. But then you asked about not contributor-centric metrics. We can have metrics around, like risk is a huge topic that has gained a lot of attention in the last year, really, with SolarWinds, and ever since we had Heartbleed, where there is not just interest by users, companies, but now also government coming in and saying we need to regulate this somehow. And so metrics are starting to play a bigger role with test coverage and looking at who is contributing. Are there any contributors that are suspicious, and identities and trust in open source are becoming more and more like really hard to grasp and hard to put into metrics, but they're becoming more important.
So with these sets of metrics, I think the Chaos project as a whole is obviously, the name very focused on the community portion of, what you are measuring when it comes to the health of an open source project. I think the business interest in having a healthy community is probably quite obvious to most. I'm curious where you see within those community metrics, what you see as being kind of the most important to look at from kind of from a business perspective. Where do you see? I mean, I think like risk obviously is a really great one. It makes a lot of sense that that's on the rise. What other of these sets of metrics, what do you think businesses really need to be looking at the most?
Depends on the scenario. Is it your own project that you are open sourcing and you have some business goal for your own software? Is it software that you're looking to utilize that someone else has developed and you want to evaluate, is this a good project to rely on and to build on? So depending on the use case, there are different metrics that I would look at, but the common denominator is just number of contributions and the activity in the project. Because, and this is something that I found in my PhD research, a healthy open source project has three things. One is quality source code. One is the resources to do development, and GitHub provides all of that almost for free for most projects. Most projects don't need more than what is already provided. But then the third one, and usually I list that as first, is an active community. Because without an active community, there's no development, there's no advancement in software, and technology moves so fast. If the software is not being updated and maintained, it'll be obsolete 1 or 2 years down the road.